Welcome back everyone to another episode of Killer Concepts. Today we've got a special one called Dune Walker. This, you could say, gave some inspiration from, well, Dune. Never seen the film, and I came up with this idea just before the film, but I know that there's some things that are very similar. You could also say it's very reminiscent of Mad Max as well. You know, with the desert and all that type of thing. Yes. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right on into the basic info. They are 4.4 meters per second killer with a 24 meter terror radius. So about average for both of them. Although they are short in height. Not quite as short as Chucky, but as a general, they are on short size. And their weapon is a cantina that they attached saw blades to and a nice long chain to make a very custom morning star. For those of you that don't know what a morning star is, look it up and know your medieval historical weapons. God fucking damn it. It is the weapon that Kristen Cole uses at the very beginning of House of Dragons, just as an FYI. And let's get around into their abilities before I lose my mind on you not knowing what a morning star is. Sands of Insanity. In their terror radius, they have a permanent sandstorm that is spiraling out of control. The sandstorm inflicts a new status effect that I have named Blurred. Basically, it's a similar effect that the clown's bottles do, although it lasts for the permanent durability of that. Your screen gets fuzzy and blurry and it's much harder to see what's going on. And on top of that, while you suffer with the blurred status effect, their terror radius is turned up to max. So basically, the second you walk into their terror radius, you don't know whether they're right on top of you or not. That's the whole premise of it. Sandstorm also inflicts slowness on you, so basically it's a good idea to stay away from the killer, because on top of that, your directional controls will be flipped the second you're in a sandstorm. So you see the killer, don't try and run away from him, try and run towards him and you'll be running away from him then. You'll probably be thinking, well, as long as I stay away from their sandstorm, I'll be perfectly fine. And that you will be. But unfortunately, after a set amount of time, the killer can activate their ability's true potential, which sends the sandstorm map wide. Killer Instinct is then also activated when it goes map wide, so you cannot hide, you can only run. And once again, you'd be in a sandstorm, so you'd have blurred, slowness, and inverted controls. Now, let's get round into their perks. Their first perk, Dusty Equipment. As a survivor, if you interact with any interactable object, but mainly a gate or a generator, you'll suffer the blurred status effect either way. You know, just because you can't get away from the sandstorm effects.
Hello, lady.
Perk 2. Wasteland Insanity. This works similar to the Doctor's Insanity meter, where sound and visual effects will play after the survivor is in your terror radius for too long. Basically, this is a character that's meant to make you say, go away. Perk 3 is Engine Siphon. Basically, when a generator is completed, all the survivors who were working on it get suffered with slowness for 5 seconds. And you gain haste for 5 seconds. But you don't just gain haste for 5 seconds. No. For every survivor that was working on that generator, you gain another 5 seconds. So if all 4 survivors were on that generator, you would have a quite nice 20 seconds worth of haste. It's meant to stop them from working on generators together, a bit like Discordance. And as with all of the videos that I'm getting out now, their lore is incorporated into their base video, so if you're not interested, please feel free to skip to the end, but if you are, let's get down into it. A survivor was a normal human. They were on a plane, flying to see family, and something happened to the plane. They weren't any expert in it. All they know is that the plane crashed in the middle of a desert. Which desert? How do they know? Where were they closest to? They also did not know. All they knew is that when they woke up, they didn't hear anyone else. They couldn't find anyone else. They were completely alone. They did the best that they could to survive there, scavenging what they could from the broken plane. Well, mainly the snacks carts, which had enough food and water in there to survive for a little while, though he definitely stayed away from the salted peanuts. After a while,
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
his rations started to run low.
The end.
Clearly no one was coming for him, because he had been there
I'm gonna lose this.
for days,
I'm just not gonna.
maybe weeks. It got to the point where it was hard to tell what day it was.
This is the last I'm not gonna use.
After all,
Anyway, so it's not the end of
with the amount of sun that was beaming down on them, they passed out for quite a while, a lot of the time. Sometimes they woke up and it was dark. Sometimes they woke up and it was still light. After enough time, they decided that they should move on and see if they couldn't find civilization themselves. No one had come this time, so what was to say anyone else would come any time sooner? He had the choice. Stay by the plane and hope for survival. Or walk. Walk on into the desert to try and find someone or something to show that civilization was nearby. He knew what he wanted to do. He wasn't someone who would wait around and wait for things to be given to them on a platter. No, no, no. He wanted to do things. He was always a doer. So he walked. He walked and walked and walked.
Hello.
He kept on seeing hallucinations, mirages in the sand, of food and water, and they were vivid. He truly thought he was drinking water and eating some succulent coconuts.
Hello.
But then as it faded,
Fine.
all he felt was sand in his mouth as it waterfalled out from his orifice. He was at the point of breaking.
Right next to one of the fucking
There was nothing else he could do. He just needed something to eat, something to drink, something to help get out of here. As time went on, the hallucinations got more and more vivid. They lasted longer, and he enjoyed them more and more. They gave him small doses of his sanity back,
What?
though
I thought that was lined
what
up.
was truly happening was he was being deluded by them more and more.
Yeah, I guess not.
He finally decided he would live out in hallucination. For as long as he thought it was a hallucination, he could feel the water going down his throat. He could taste the food in his mouth. So he concentrated on trying to keep the hallucination up for as long as possible. Though the reason why this hallucination seemed to last so much longer and was so much more vivid was the black sand that he had found himself in. A small patch of it that seemed to grow ever more as he stayed there and consumed by the hallucination, eating more and more black sand as more and more grew. Eventually he was swallowed up by the black sand, only to find himself in the realm,
It was a good game for these
surrounded
guys,
by
I'll
other
give them that.
survivors.
It was really
What more could he want?
good. Rusty and
That they had all of his supplies.
good horse.
His supplies.
No, I'm gonna be nice.
No one else's.
Don't worry.
They weren't allowed them. How dare they steal his supplies? In a fury of rage, all the sand he had eaten exploded out of him and caused a sandstorm. The Dune Walker became the next killer as he chased down the survivors for his rightful supplies. Thank you very much for watching these series. It's been so fun to make them. I've enjoyed getting back into it again.
What's the point of blind?
It's been so good. I've got more coming on the way. I'll be having more Dead by Daylight streams coming out soon as well, so I can get more content to be able to overlap on these, which would be absolutely amazing. As always, if you liked what you've heard and seen here today, do leave a like. It means a lot to me.
Mine's dead.
And also, if you want to hear more killer concepts,
Yeah,
if you hit the subscribe button, you'll see when I upload. And on top of that,
I don't know
if there's a killer concept you'd like me to do, based off of a book series, a film, or any other type of media, let me know. I'll look into it, and I'll make one. I've already got 2 already up on the channel. That is the band and the diver.
Oh, she's not around there.
Just as proof that I do them.
One at the other one.
But without further ado,
Fucking exit is in a minute.
this Cerberus,
All kind of there.
well, he's given into his hallucination of a night where he can go to sleep early, but never will.
Good.
Ow!